On the previous page, on this page, we manually grouped the car sales data by make and then used the plot function to create a column chart. And while this approach is feasible for the car sales data, as there are only a few makes, it's not feasible when we have a large number of values in the field that we want to separate the rows on. For example, it would be infeasible the data in this way for the COVID data because we have more than 300 entries for the different dates. Now, fortunately, Python allows us to use a separate function, namely groupby. So I'm going to again start up a new kernel. Then what I'm going to do is again import pandas spd, read the data sales, the car sales data into a data frame that I'll now call dfall. And then what we'll do is we'll call the panda function groupby on the data frame, the dfall data frame, and then we can specify which field we want to group them by, and then we'll say what we want is we want you to calculate the mean, but only do that for numeric fields. So here we have the general the data frame with all of the data in it, and then we do the group by make. Let's see what this looks like. So we're not separating the fields in dfall manually by make, but we get the group by to do this for us. And if we look at dfsplit, you see that it has indeed done the separation as we wanted. So we have make, sales price, cost price, labor cost. Obviously, we can do some calculation later on. There's some prettying up later on to make sure that this is rounded, but let's not care for that about that at the moment. But there is a problem. The first argument in the plot function is the column that you want to plot by, make in our case. And the problem that we have is that make doesn't appear to be a column. So let's look at the columns in dfsplit. And you see what has happened is that we only have 3 columns, sale price, cost price, and labor cost. And rather what groupby has done, it has taken the field that we did the groupby on, in this case make, and it has made that an index. Now, the two ways to fix this, we'll first do it manually, and then we'll look at the preferred way of fixing this. If you look at dfsplit values, then you see that that is an array of the actual measures, the actual makes that we have in our data set. So what we can do now is we're going to stick this back in. Let's call this new make, just to make clear what we're doing. And we will make the values of the index, we'll make that the values in this new column we're generating. So see what we've done. We've done the split by, the group by. That means that the column make is no longer available as a column. Rather, what groupby has done, it has created an index, and the values in the index are the values in the make field that we had in the original df_all. Now what we're doing is we're taking those values and sticking them back in a column in df_split that we're going to call new make. So let's see what that does. And now what we can do is we can look at df_split, if you like. And you see that it now has sale price, cost price, labor cost, and new make as columns. So we can now do the split. The plot on df_split rather. And we do it on, let's do it on make, and we'll just map all the values. But we need to do it on new make, because that's what we called the new column. And we see indeed that we can now plot on the new field that we created. Now, this is all a fairly convoluted way of doing it, but it's useful to look at it because you kind of understand what's going on on a groupby. The better way of doing it, and I'm going to do this in a new Python kernel. So again, let's import pandas as PD. Let's create df_all by reading the data file in again, the car sales data in again. Okay, so this is similar to what we did before. So df_all now has all of these, all the data in it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do df_split equals df_all.groupby on make we calculate the mean but now what we tell it to do is to reset the index as well. So in other words, this is all the same, okay? We just split the data by make, we calculate the means, but now we're going to reset the index as well. So let's run this. And now we can look at the split. And you see we now no longer have the problem that we had before, because make, that the field that we separated by, has now just been added as an index. By resetting the index, it has just been added again as a field. Everything we did manually is done automatically by reset index, and now we can plot to our heart's content.